Some of the symptoms included bright red vaginal bleeding, as well as bleeding during delivery. So, bright red vaginal bleeding during your pregnancy, and then vaginal bleeding. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to give you guys another video, and today it's strictly a pregnancy video, and I want to simply talk about one thing. I am in the car because I am currently waiting for my son to get out of basketball practice today, so I figured while I wait, I would go ahead and record this video for you guys. I don't know if you guys know, but I am a basketball mom. My 13-year-old is a basketball fanatic. He plays a lot of basketball, and he's usually in a lot of tournaments around this time of year and throughout the year. But due to COVID-19, we've kind of been in hiatus a little bit when it comes to tournaments, and there are no tournaments going on right now. We just started back getting him into practicing a couple weeks ago, so I miss basketball so much. I don't know if I miss it more or he misses it more, but I miss going to his tournaments. I miss watching him compete. I miss the games. I miss everything about it. So it's really kind of sad, and I'm really kind of frustrated about it, but there's nothing we can do about it. I just hope we get to a point where it gets back to normal soon. But that is not the point of this video, and that is not why I'm making this video for you guys. So the purpose of this video is going to be to discuss in a little bit more detail about my pregnancy and my placenta previa diagnosis. I want to kind of go into a little detail for you guys because this is actually something that's new to me. I had not previously heard of this. I have given birth to 3 children, and I have never before been diagnosed or even heard of placenta previa for that matter. So I figured I would make a video about it since it's something new. Maybe I can share my experience with you guys and share some information that I may have. I do want to point out to you guys that I am not a doctor. Your girl's not a doctor. So nothing in this video is intended to be for medical purposes or diagnosis purposes or anything like that. This video is simply just for me to share my experience of what I'm going through with you guys, and maybe it can be helpful to someone somewhere, or just to share experiences. But before we get too deep into the video and get into the discussion, I want to go ahead and let you guys know that I need you to do me a favor. Yes, your girl needs a favor, and you guys should already know what that is. If you're new here to this video, if you clicked on this video, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified every single time that I post a video. And also, if you stick around to the end of this video, please go ahead and feel free to give this video a thumbs up. I am working on building this channel up and building my subscribers up, so your girl needs your support. So please go ahead, hit the subscribe button for me if you haven't already done so. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, in a few of my previous videos, I've kind of discussed some of the things that have been brought to my attention during my prenatal visits and whatnot. I'm currently 6 months pregnant. I should have checked before I turned on the camera, but I'm currently 6 months pregnant. I'm not sure how many, 6 months and a few weeks. I'm not sure. I should be coming up here on 7 months pretty soon. But I am currently 6 months pregnant, and I am currently still in my 2nd trimester. I was diagnosed with a high-risk pregnancy at my first doctor's visit. The high-risk pregnancy diagnosis for me was simply based on my age. I am 35 years old, and I guess that's the cutoff mark where women are considered to be elderly. No, just kidding. Where women who are pregnant are considered high risk. So I was diagnosed very early on with a high risk pregnancy strictly because of my age. I didn't have any other health concerns to contribute to the high risk diagnosis. It was strictly based on my age. So because of the high risk diagnosis, I have to see my regular OBGYN, and then I also have to see a high risk physician. So that's what I did. I scheduled an appointment and I went to see this high risk physician. And when I went to see the high risk physician, we did an ultrasound. And during that ultrasound, it was mentioned to me that I had placenta previa. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was very casually mentioned to me. It wasn't like, oh my God, you have this, here's what you need to do, blah, blah, blah. It was very kind of like casually mentioned to me. And so I was like, okay. And when it was mentioned to me, it was also mentioned to me that there were high expectations for my placenta previa to correct itself, basically. So I was just like, okay. I didn't really know too much about what that meant or anything like that. So I think I asked her about it, and I think she said something like, oh, that's when your placenta is really close to your cervix and it can cause bleeding, da da da. I was like, all right, but like I said, it really didn't seem like much of a concern. So I pretty much played off of the physician, and if it wasn't too much of a concern to her, it wasn't too much of a concern to me. However, I'm not going to say that it was just completely a non-concern, because I have thought about it, and I have thought about it enough to kind of do a little research. So after that doctor's visit, I did do a little research, and I did find out that placenta previa is when the placenta covers the cervix. There are 3 different types of placenta previa. There is complete, where the placenta covers the whole cervix. There is partial, where I guess it's partially covered. And then there's marginal, where I guess only a tip is covered, or something of the sort. Like I said, girl ain't a doctor. I just did some research on my own. So I had not been told whether mine was complete or anything like that. So I don't know. And so placenta previa occurs in approximately 1 in 200 women. So to me, that's common, and that statistic was for women in the 3rd trimester. Okay, so I'm still in my 2nd trimester. During my reading, I also found out some risk factors that could possibly contribute to you being diagnosed with placenta previa, and those include having delivered a child previously, being over the age of 35, smoking, having previous C-sections, or any type of surgery on your uterus. And there were a few more, but I'm not going to list them all here. But those were some of the ones that kind of like stood out to me. So some of the symptoms that I found during my research included bright red vaginal bleeding, as well as bleeding during delivery. So bright red vaginal bleeding during your pregnancy, and then vaginal bleeding during the actual birthing process, during while you're in labor. I will say I don't have any of those symptoms. I don't know if there are any other symptoms that goes along with this, but those were the ones that I could find. I don't have any of those symptoms at all, so thank God for that. But it does seem pretty serious. So women who are diagnosed with placenta previa during their third trimester, they usually end up having to have a C-section as opposed to a vaginal birth, based on the fact that you don't want to be bleeding out during your delivery. When it comes to me, you guys, my diagnosis occurred during my second trimester. I had a visit with my regular OBGYN after visiting the high-risk doctor, and I talked to her a little bit about it, and she was basically nonchalant about it as well. She was basically just like, you know, a lot of women get diagnosed with placenta previa in their second trimester, and usually it corrects itself. So we're hoping and expecting for it to correct itself at this point. And during my research, I did read that as well. I did read that when diagnosed in the second trimester, placenta previa usually corrects itself. I believe I saw something like 90% of the women who get diagnosed with placenta previa in their second trimester, their diagnosis ends up correcting itself. Okay, so when I went to see the OBGYN, that's kind of what she stated to me as well. She didn't seem very concerned either. She did not tell me to take it easy. She didn't tell me to go on bed rest. She didn't tell me to stop intercourse. She didn't tell me any of that. I am kind of just going through my pregnancy like normal. I'm not taking any extra precautions. I do have a follow-up ultrasound to do to ensure that my placenta previa corrects itself. So during my third trimester, sometime in July, I will have a follow-up ultrasound with a high-risk doctor, and then we'll just strictly be checking to make sure that everything is okay and the placenta previa does correct itself. I am kind of worried about it, just a tiny bit. The worry that I have is minimal, but I am worried, you know, and I'll be worried until I go back to the doctor and they tell me that my placenta previa has corrected itself. But I wanted to make this video because if there are any moms in my situation, I could see how it could be a worry for you guys, because I am somewhat worried a little bit. And then you have your moms who have placenta previa that doesn't correct itself, and they may be going through their pregnancy, bleeding and whatnot. I could only imagine how scary that must be if you are going through that. So blessings and prayers to you if that is what you're going through. And I just wish everybody who's expecting a safe delivery, whether that be C-section or whether that be vaginal birth. I know that sometimes us moms can get discouraged when we have it all planned out and we want to have a vaginal birth and we end up not being able to have a vaginal birth, and we have to go through that cesarean process, that C-section process, which I have never had to go through before, but I would definitely be somewhat a little distraught if I had to. So that is a concern of mine, and I know that lots of women have to go through this. So I just wanted to share my story with you guys. If you are a mom who has been diagnosed with placenta previa, please comment down below what your experience is like. That way we can share information with each other. There are other moms who may be in the comments as well. I think I'm ready to wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you stuck around to the end of this video, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Please hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every single time that I post a video. And also give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next video.